Good morning.
Good morning.
Good to see you, Dave.
My other call got canceled after all, so I'm going to be here. How about
Yeah, I know. I called some people, had them
that?
clear your calendar for you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking care of that.
Yeah. Hey, are you so you've moved to Portland, is that right?
Yeah, this is like I should warn you that the Wi-Fi is a little spotty because I'm in the basement and I haven't got my Wi-Fi extender hasn't arrived yet. So
Yeah. Cuz
uh
those always work.
yeah, well that's gonna be my you know, first try. If that
Yeah.
doesn't work, I maybe will have to put wires through the walls or something.
Yeah. I pulled it's very janky cuz I think this is all going to get re something. But I just pulled an RJ45 through the laundry room into the back studio.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I'm like hardwired. Couldn't deal
All
anymore.
right.
I'm all about hardwired. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, old school.
Yeah. Well,
There's nothing like drilling holes through your floors and your walls to make
yeah.
you feel like you really own the space. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Especially with
Good point.
just make sure the missus is gone. Yeah.
Just say you're hanging paintings or something.
Yeah, what's all that racket?
Just gonna hang a tiny little painting down here by the floorboard. a little masterpiece.
Yeah, a masterpiece. Right in the.
Well, the cable comes in through the basement, so
Oh, well, there you go.
I should
Yeah.
be able to. I should be able to just, even though the router's on the second floor, I should be able to do something, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can just go hard janky and have the wires dangling. I've done that before. Or you can just
I
run
don't think Michelle would be into that.
you could run it under some carpet. That's another good way to do it. But
Yeah.
I think a nicely planned hole that's just the right size and properly patched up is not noticeable, makes it look clean. Everything's fine. At least that's what I think.
Well, I'm going to try the extenders first. See if they work.
Yeah.
Dave, your camera moves around a bunch. What kind of fancy robot camera are you using?
It's called the Lumina, and it's got like a autofocus.
Yeah, it does like a little
Yeah.
pan tilt zoom.
Like a little Ken Burns effect. Yeah.
Yeah. That looks cool. Yeah, I've seen
So
some
I
of
can,
these cameras.
so I can kick back. I can put a little. I'm thinking about putting a little like cozy chair here with the pipe.
Yeah. See, that's awesome. It's like the camera goes into storytelling mode. It just knows,
Yeah.
like, oh, I detect a pipe. Let's pull back and enjoy the story.
Right. Well, you got to pretend like there's an operator back there. Hey, Tony, could you just pull in a little bit closer?
Julian, you've got like a total podcaster type, set up, don't you?
Oh, hell yeah.
It's like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, dress the part, be the part. Is what I always say. I never say that. Someone said it.
Howard Stern. Dress for the job that you want, right?
Yeah, something along that. Although I don't want a job.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm dressed for.
So I don't dress up at all.
Yeah.
I'll show you that while we're talking about my setup. I'll show you my favorite part about it. Check this out.
Oh, for your top down situation.
Is that a camera Lucida?
It's just a camera.
Oh, it's just a camera. Got it.
Yeah.
I thought it might have been one of those fancy prisms that you get to.
Oh yeah, I had one of those ones. I couldn't get it to quite work.
I mean, it's just a piece of glass. You just have to look through it, right?
Yeah. I felt like it promised more than it actually delivered.
I mean, it delivered for a lot of artists that got accused of cheating back in the olden days.
To
For you.
just copy over stuff. People's. I think I did when I backed it on Kickstarter. I got it.
Yeah, that's what's his face? I can't remember his name now. I used to see him speak at conferences quite a bit. He's a avid camera Lucida collector, and then he created, I think it's called the Lucida camera. I think it's what it's called on Kickstarter.
Sounds about right.
It's not working. Oh well.
There you go.
There you go. You're gonna have to get your Neo Lucida. That's it. That's what it's called.
So Dave, have you met Dre ever?
No, we haven't met.
No, but I saw you in your I watched you guys in your Magic the Gathering video cast.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Throwing lightning bolts and stuff.
Yeah.
And so, Dave, you said you're in Portland. Did you just recently move there? Is this your permanent residence?
Yeah. Yeah, just moved. Sorry. Yeah. Yep. Just moved, and this is the basement. And I don't know if you can see, but I'm kind of surrounded by boxes, so you're going to be a lot of shuffling and moving and figuring out involved.
Yeah, that's the fun part.
Yeah.
What so what brought on the move?
Well, there was no particular reason for moving other than just that we didn't want to. I mean, there was no reason to stay in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And we had visited Portland a few times because my company had an office here, even though I sold that company. But so I myself just liked it and wanted to get out of St. Louis, and
Sure.
This was our choice.
Got it. Hey, so let me ask you. So was it X-Plane that you sold?
Yeah.
Okay, because I still get the mails, and it was just like, this doesn't quite have the same Dave tone to it. And so I was just kind of wondering. I mean, not that I'm not like
X-Plane
yeah,
is in the
I'll keep following
infographic
it.
illustration company.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
You know it.
I know it. I know it well. You guys, when I started a business, you guys have been X-Plane's been around for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it was in the I was probably in the mid 90s, late 90s. You were around back then.
I started the company in 1993. So yeah.
So I had a company in 1996, and I remember coming across your website and illustrations and loving like the little isometric style. And I think I used like a site sucker to take everything off your website and create like a mood board. I have it archived on a CD somewhere. I have your
I would love to see it, actually.
So I remember when infographics, the term really kind of came up, and I remember thinking like, this is just X-Plane. This is just people catching on what X-Plane's been doing for a long time, because I think back then you were what was it? It was about explaining complicated concepts using illustration.
How cool that you can remember all that. That's really cool.
Oh, X-Plane was like a bit of a pivotal aha moment in my design upbringing, along with the
love this. I love this.
Along with who else back then? So there was David Carson, who was another big one.
I remember David Carson. Yeah.
And it was
Hugh Dubberly. Was he in that? Was he in? Would you put Hugh Dubberly in that?
I don't know Hugh Dubberly.
I would. But yeah.
But okay, that's
I never met Hugh Dubberly though. I never got to know him or anything.
Yeah, I think Bruce Sterling turned me on to him, and then another person in the Discord mentioned Hugh kind of matter of factly, and I was like, oh yeah, I totally forgot about that guy. So it's on my mind.
Oh, David Carson was like, he was kind of known for this like
grunge,
totally unreadable typography.
Yeah. Yeah,
He was
he-
like, came out of like this sort of like West Coast surfing,
yeah, Ray Gun magazine.
Yeah, Ray Gun magazine.
Yeah, he was the opposite of what
Yeah,
X-Plane was,
right.
and I felt like you both represented either ends of the spectrum, and
Interesting.
yeah, I
Just
ended up
entirely coincidentally, totally coincidentally, this, I was like, oh,
Ooh.
let me grab my David Carson. And it was sitting right next to your cards.
amazing.
Well, mostly because the book desk is a mess, but they were right there.
Awesome.
Love it.
That's great. Yeah, The End of Print was the very first book that I bought on Amazon.
Wow.
Mm.
And I remember being able to tell that to David. I had drinks with him a few years back, and we shot the shit all night. It was super fun.
I'm not giving up on this camera thing. Failed to start. It's just, I was working yesterday. I wonder what happened.
Yeah, that's wonder.
Sucks, right?
Yeah.
So, Dave, are you an illustrator? Is that your background?
So
Dave was
back-
on sorry, just to mention, and a little plug, episode 54.
Oh, okay. I will.
I'm pretty sure. I think.
I will Google episode.
Did I ever upload it?
Yeah, I think so.
Did I did, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Usually when I name it like an
I,
episode number, it's been uploaded.
So is it Dre?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Yeah, so Dre, my background was went to art school. Then for about 10 years, I was a journalist doing infographics for newspapers. So that was kind of my background. And so I didn't kind of invent infographics or anything like that. But I think I probably was one of the first people who decided to try and make that a business and apply it to business problems. Because I do remember when I was starting the company, people were like, yeah, well, like I was in St. Louis, I talked to a guy at Anheuser-Busch. And I was like, you could explain how you make the beer. And I remember him going, nobody cares how we make the beer, Dave.
That's
But then,
cynical. That's
figured
cynical.
out.
Yeah. Meanwhile, microbrews are kind of like, and then we tweak 12 grams of.
Yeah. Well, so eventually figured out that it was a lot of and I remember talking to a guy at American Airlines, saying like, and he's like, I'm just struggling to think of anything complex about our business. It's pretty simple. It's just kind of like a bus. You get on, you go. Meanwhile, I had like, I did figure out that there's a lot of business process stuff that does need explaining, and a lot of internal stuff. So it wasn't really, I first thought, well, you'd have to explain stuff to customers, to help them understand, your business. But it turns out most of the explaining has to happen inside the business, like to your distributors, to your warehouse, to your, technology, to explaining the new system or whatever. So that was a good learning experience. And then the other assumption I had, Dre, was that people would know
how it works.
Well, they would know what number one, that they would know what they needed to explain, and number two, that they would know how to explain it.
Yeah.
And what I ended up discovering was, no, they didn't. Number one, they had a business result that they wanted. They didn't know what they wanted to explain or who needed to understand what in order to make it happen. And the understanding was often distributed among 20 or 30 people who all had a little piece of it. So that's where I don't know if you've ever seen game storming, but that's where we kind of ended up sort of developing this whole toolkit for building group shared understanding, which ended up being published as game storming. So that was really interesting times.
Oh, did you start game storming? Is that your thing?
Well, game storming was a book. It's a book.
It's a book. Yeah, I remember. I think I own that book somewhere.
Yeah, and we're actually just this is somewhat confidential, but just tonight signing, just like this week, signing a deal to do a second edition updated for virtual meetings and all that kind of stuff. So
That's great. I just found a folder full of explain illustrations on my server. Turns out I had archived the CD on my drive.
oh wow.
I have
Well,
so
I
much.
would love to see that. I
have
would love to
so
see
much
it.
stuff.
Wow. Can you share that in the chat? Like
Yeah,
can
yeah.
you,
Let me just
is it a Dropbox?
here. You know what I'll do is I'll share my screen. Oh, Julian is gatekeeping screen
Oh,
share.
hold on.
Yeah, I'll do a data dump for you.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
All right, let's see. This is my
We had a website called Explain Archive where we had all our old web pages, and I don't know what's up with that. There it is.
yeah. So I've got a whole bunch of stuff here. So
Oh, cool.
the great thing is all PDFs.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh, cool. Oh wow. That's so cool.
Yeah, I'm a data hoarder.
Well, I'm glad you are.
Yeah, so this would have been probably the early aughts that I grabbed all this stuff because it says that I was working at DDB at the time when I stole this. But yeah, I'll definitely
Yeah, I mean, if you can share that
Drop it.
folder with me, that would be awesome. Very cool.
Another office hours win.
Yeah. Julian making the slam dunk connection. What's new with you, Julian? What's going on? How's the publishing business?
I'm digging the publishing business. It's it's a lot of work, and it's gratifying, I'd say. Where we at? There's all kinds of like practical stuff going on. There's like logistics. I wouldn't say nightmares. I mean, not even close to that, but just kind of like, oh, okay, that something's broken, but you know, it's totally fixable. I'll tell you a short story related. So you know, yes, you wake up in the morning, you get coffee, you come in the back, right? You come in the back and you kind of like look, okay, let me see if anything is like a complete conflagration overnight. You're just like looking for email for the emergency email, and they're never really any of those. But a couple things you see, it's like some people asking, like, you know, a couple customers, international customers, like, hey, just want to check on the shipment, you know, kind of thing. So it's like, so my first thing is like, oh, did something get screwed up? And then you go look in the one spreadsheet that's got the thing that's got all the information in. It's like, oh, okay, well, it's going. There's a tracking number. That means that it was shipped, because that number appears there through some algorithm, which might in fact just be a person. I have no idea. And so then you're like, oh, okay, let me check the track. And then you think, like, why didn't they get the tracking number? Like, there's an automation that they're supposed to go to them. So then you start wondering, and so it just becomes this, you know, a little bit of a rabbit hole, and it actually put me in a bit of a bad mood. By bad mood, I would say, like, ugh, you know, there's always something, like, and I'm trying to like tell myself, like, this is the cost of being an independent publisher. And
What put you in a bad mood? Like just the fact that,
well, that's either, you know, something was potentially broken and I wasn't sure where it was, you know, in the configuration of all these different, you know, sites and services and international, you know, operations, that there was that any quick insight into what that might be leads you to, you know, anything from like an old a forum post. You're kind of like, oh, maybe it's that. You look at the forum posts and you're like, it's, you know, it's from 2020. It's like from 2020. And so you're kind of like, is this even relevant at this point? So you start thinking, like, maybe, you know, there's more digging to be done, or maybe I broke something. You know, it's just lots of things that I wouldn't say bad mood's the wrong thing. I was like, I was being antagonized, you know, by the problem. So you're just kind of like just feeling a little bit tweaked, but not, you know, I'm not throwing things around and having a fit, but it's just like, okay, you know, this is what it is. And this is what you contend with. And
and it's, you're earning your $20.
and yeah, so yeah, so you see that, and this is where the, you know, this is where, yeah, that's the work, right? As much as we want it to just be the beautiful, fun, creative, laughing and having fun, it's like, no, this is what it is. And I know that from, you know, you know, running Amada for 8 years. Like, I get it. It's a familiar feeling that I know I can deal with. So it's just like, all right, spend like an hour kind of sorting this out, ask a couple questions, and look for help. And then it's like, okay, it's time to take the dog for a walk. And walking the dog, and I could feel it's like still aggravating me because I'm like, oh man, it's like I had other plans for this morning that I wanted to do. You know, um,
Like skateboarding.
I don't skateboard. Come on, David.
No.
It's like I take pictures of skateboarders, and I know myself well enough to know it's like no matter how fantastic it looks, you're of an age where a broken bone isn't fun.
Right. Yeah, true.
And so I walk the dog, and then at one point, Chewy's, as you guys know, like I love Chewy to death, and he's also like when you take him for a walk, it's like he likes to sniff everything, and most of the time, and I'm cool with that. It's just like, okay, man, you give me so much love and joy, and you kind of, he's at my feet right now. Yeah, this is your time. For an hour, we're gonna walk, and you sniff and piss and shit on whatever you want. I got you. And at one point, I was like, my aggravation went to like where he kept doing that, and I thought to myself, like, can we just get past a couple of trees before we stop? Just a couple. And so I kind of pulled him on his chain, and he knows what that means. He's like, oh, okay. And I was like, wait, why the fuck did I do that? Why did I do that?
I do that all the time, and I never ask myself why I do it.
Yeah, well, so I asked myself because I wanted to know. It wasn't because I wanted to get back into that, like, okay, you got to deal with this aggravation, otherwise you'll carry you'll carry it for the rest of the day,
Right.
and it'll bubble over into something, that is not that it wouldn't be cool, but it'd just be like whatever. You might just not say a pleasant hello to the barista, right?
You got to ask yourself not why you did it, but you have to ask yourself, what are you doing? And if you really think about it, you're not taking the dog for a walk. The dog is taking you for a walk.
The dog, so and I let him do that. That's why, I mean,
Yeah, and
he knows our routes, and he'll look at me. It's like, this way. I was like, if you want, cool.
Yeah, and if you want to sniff on all the things, you just gotta
Let
bend over and take a sniff yourself.
Yeah. If he wants to shit on that plant, it's like, oh, okay, I think I can.
Okay. You gotta look around first.
Pinch one out, maybe. So anyway, so then I so it was fine, and all the things got sorted, which I knew that they would. Just whatever. It's like we'll deal with it. But I'm thinking, so I'm still holding this thing of like, this is why I do it, and I know that this is part of what you have to do in order to be, do all the things that I do, and then also in a way, it's sort of like, okay, the people who don't do the things that I do, have their own shit that they got to deal with, Mr. Manager or whatever. And then I went to my cafe that I've been going to in the kind of mid afternoon, just to get away from the screen and just do a little notebook stuff and maybe read a little bit. I hang out there for like an hour or two, and I went there, and when I had to take Chewy to the vet, and we'd just market and whatever, and then so I just drove over there on my way home, and I pulled in the back, and I was like, oh, there's no parking. It's like, God damn it. Okay, well then maybe this won't happen. And I pulled out, and where I pulled out, I pulled immediately into a right turn lane. So I was like, God damn it. And I just wanted to go across this main shit show boulevard in order to get into my neighborhood. So I was like, God damn it. Okay, now I got to turn onto this hellacious road, hellacious LA road that's just bedlam. And I'm gonna have to, weave my way back home, which is it was just kind of like, all right, well, that's what I got to do. So I turned, and I was like, oh, word, there's a spot right there on the hellacious boulevard that's only a few steps away from the cafe. Perfect, I'll park there. So I parked my car on this boulevard, and I remember being a little bit nervous because it's kind of like, even getting out of the car, you got to be like, okay, is anyone coming at all? Anything? Is it a stray shopping cart just rolling down the road or something, or some bum on a stolen bicycle riding the wrong way down the street? It could be anything. And so, I got out and was like, all right, well, I think the car will be totally fine, not a big deal. And so I went to the cafe, and I was sitting in the cafe maybe like 15 or 20 minutes, and some guy comes over, like our age kind of guy. He comes over and he's like, are you Julian Bleecker? And I was like, yeah, as a matter of fact, I am. And he's like, I just want to let you know, like, I just bought.
You didn't like. You were like, who's asking?
No, I wasn't. I wasn't. I wasn't because I'm no longer aggravated. I'm in a good mood. I'm like, yeah, who are you? And he says, I just bought one of your Amida ones. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, I saw your car. And I saw the vinyl you had in the back of it. And I stopped and I came in. I was like, I wonder if he's in there. And he said, I just want to let you know, like, it's amazing what you did and what you built. And I saw your video on the website. You know, just really, I appreciate what you did. And he was very generous with his, I mean, I'm not trying to sweeten it up. It's like he was exceptionally generous. Not even to the point of like embarrassment. For me, it was just kind of like, man, fucking hell, like that's why I did all that, and it was hell. Like building the company, building the product, all the shit I had to deal with my asshole co-founder, like all the stuff that you hear about, or sometimes don't hear about, because everyone just tells the sweet stories of success. And I was like, man, I built something, and I touched someone, and it meant something to them, and and it was just a reminder to me, like, to your question, Dave, like, what did you do? It's like, man, I just keep doing the things that sometimes hurt to do, because someday I know it's going to touch someone. I'm not looking for the, I'm not looking for the, people to come up to me and pat me on the back and stuff like that. But it was beautiful. I mean, this was like, I sold the company like 2 years ago. And it's like, so that was, so that, what it, so, all that shit that I dealt with in the morning, which, I could, when you ask me like, what's going on, like all those kinds of things are going on. And it was just a reminder. It's like, okay, that's why I do it. I want people to be like, hey, cool, that was great. I want people to be, like Dre, and like, oh my God, you're the explain guy? Let me tell you a story. Like, that's got to be way more. I mean, I'm, knowing you enough, Dave. That's got to be, way more gratifying than, well, I mean, maybe not than, if someone wrote you a
Well, I
check.
got to say, it's also gratifying to hear what's not the same since he left.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that true about Omada? Is it not the same since he left?
Well, it's hard to say because the new owners haven't haven't reintroduced the product.
Oh,
I don't think it will. I
hmm.
don't think it won't be the same, but it won't be. I don't think it'll necessarily be like bad. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, I think the trickiest part is, which is, where they they want, they want the collaboration, is like in the brand and the story as much as anything else. But I think that's where it would go screwy for sure, if it ever did. Where, but that's how things go. Or screwy from my perspective. Other people might be like amazing. Like there's another bicycle brand, that a friend of mine built, called Rita, and it was just him. I mean, it was for a long time, it wasn't just him for a long time, but at the end it was, and he was just like, he was trying to find a way to get it off of his plate, and he ended up selling the, I guess it was mostly the brand, and they're running now, and it seems but it's different. It's definitely different. It's definitely different. It's the character has changed quite a bit. And this was a guy who's like, he's like all, he did a lot of ad work in the ad world, copywriting, this kind of stuff. Super humble guy, very creative. He's now living up in, I forgot the name, little mountain town, doing pottery, building, he builds a certain scale of race car, like pro am kind of. I don't know what the category is, but he's, ever since I've known him, he's always been like, he's like basically inside the engine compartment of like an old Volvo that was their they kind of redid for their team car, but it was super janky. Maybe not. It wasn't like professionally rebuilt, but they had so much character, and he did these great ads. He did these great ads where just kind of in a fun way, taking the piss out of like cycling culture. It's like, it was one ad where, yeah, if you've ever watched like professional cycling, the tour or whatever, they'll sometimes do a thing where, they there'll be a camera in the team car. So these are all team supported things. So they're always the cars in the back of the peloton, and they do these kind of routines where there'll be one cyclist. It's not the Swan-O. It's like one of the roles of the cyclist is basically to fall back, go to the team car, and just load up with water bottles. So they're stuffing them in their jersey and all over the place to give to the to the essentially they're supporting the dude who they want to win the race. So you have all these, it's all this strategy and like maneuver and that kind of stuff. And so they go back to the team car and they'll pick up. And so sometimes they show like the transfer, just like giving them water bottles. You see them like stuffing it all over the place, and then maybe some energy, bars of some description or goos or whatever these guys consume and gals, and and so they did a thing like that, like as if it's in the peloton. The whole thing, like there's always like a radio mic kind of dangling, and there's always some anxious trainer or whatever he's like allez, come on, like whatever, they're doing the whole thing. And at one point the guy pulls up and they're doing the little chin. He's like, well, what's on the, what do you got? And the guy's like, he gives him a menu and he's like, you'll have the braised rib and can you have two of those pork chop sandwiches, this kind of thing. It's just it's just one of those stupid things. And then there's always the other one was changing the tire. So if someone blows a tire, they've got the team, but they're a bunch of bikes and they're all like super custom to each cyclist. So like, okay, get everything, and they try to do it as quick as possible, this kind of thing. And when they're riding, the guy's like, I've got a flat in front. And then they're like, okay, we change it out. And he kind of falls back a little bit. And then they just, as he's riding, they just pick up the bike until they change it while he's still moving, put it back on. Okay, allez, give him a little pat on the butt. Go on. So, I mean, it's just that kind of creative, beautiful creative spirit. And so that I learned a lot from him. He helped me a lot with Amida, actually. The one print ad we did, he was super helpful. Just like little nudges. Like I had the whole thing, we kind of talked about the copy and stuff. And he was just like, point the image this way. I was like, okay. And it changed everything. It just made it kind of pop in this way.
Wow. See, we have some other people joining us.
We do. Drew, making an appearance. Good to see you, my friend. I've been wanting to talk to you.
Here?
There you are. So, yeah. What did I want to talk to you about? I wanted to say that yeah, I think I've said it before. It's like I'm looking forward to getting more involved.
Me too. But I'm slammed at work, but
Sure.
hopefully it'll lighten up after this weekend, and I'll be able to dedicate more time to the what's important, right? The design fiction, moving it forward.
Yeah. So for Dave's benefit, Drew's showrunner on it's a magazine from the future, one of our favorite design fiction archetypes, Future of Fashion.
So have you done some magazines like this? Are they for sale somewhere? Where did people get, or are you just are you actually print them up, or do you just design them and put them online, or how do you do it?
Yeah, we print them up. I've done one thorough one, and that was a commercial project for a client, autonomous vehicle dealie.
Because I would subscribe.
Yeah, well, that's what we want to do. I mean, like,
oh, cool.
Ray keeps bringing it up, like in the well, it was McSweeney's, right? It was McSweeney's. Who was it? Did the boxes stuff, like to have. I mean, it would require a significant increase in effort, and which makes me a little bit nervous, because then it's like, okay, well, then you got to hire people, and it's like, oh shit, all of a sudden you're a company. It's like,
yeah,
I think I did enough of those.
Yeah, that's true.
But the idea is that if we can, like, so Drew is doing is show running, and I want more people around the project, and Thomas is show running the magazine from the future of Hollywood, so which is super topical now. So excited to get that one out. Hope the writers and the actors stay on strike.
I have 3 boxes of, like, banker boxes of these old science fiction pulp magazines from that belonged to my grandfather. I have no idea what to do with them.
You can send them to me. I've already got a collection.
Yeah, you do?
I love them. I love them. Yeah. 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 Mine are all from the 60s. They were my mom's. She'd get
These
them
are from
there.
like the 30s and the
Oh,
40s.
neat. Oh, super.
Yeah. They're somewhere.
One of
While
those
you guys are
boxes.
talking, I'll go see if I can find one.
This is great. The camera's going to follow you.
Probably.
Yeah, mine are they're because they're pulp. I barely open them anymore because the binding falls apart. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
covers are beautiful. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot on the train and like the direction of the world building and stuff. I haven't been codifying anything, but I've been mentally noting.
That's important.
A lot.
That's an important phase. Definitely. I think just trying to, yeah, that's good. I mean, I think it would, there's so much resonance when I talk to people about the idea of doing a magazine from the future that I'm I'm so excited about having them there. You know what I mean? Like, and I think you do one, then two, and then when the third one happens, like, okay, now it's a thing. Now it's, people will be like, well, what's the next one going to be on? Can I propose a topic? You can do more than that. You can show run one.
Exactly. Yeah, I'd love to do an architectural digest next
Yeah.
or something similar.
Yeah, interior
that'd be
design, you
amazing.
mean, like in that kind of
Oh, yeah.
vibe?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I'd love to do that.
Oh, that sounds great, because that
Interiors,
sounds,
that sounds topical, and especially with AI, imagine if you had a room where every day the wallpaper changed based on your mood,
Nice.
like AI, why not?
Why not? Why not?
that's a good question. Why not? Why not?
No, or it had like facial detection built into your video software and it would change the background based on your boss's mood.
But what's the reason? Why wouldn't we want that?
That's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't
No,
we?
no, no, no. I'm asking the question. I'm not saying it. Like the why not is usually meaning like, yeah, of course we want that. But I don't know, maybe.
Maybe, yeah, you don't want to reveal your mood to your spouse. Like, I don't need my husband to know that I'm in a really bad mood right now.
Yeah, you can see people like, damn it, and they just like have to have some kind of drapery to pull over it, over the damn wall.
Yeah, or just performative AI in front of the camera, smiling really big.
Yeah,
And then the room changing.
yeah, which causes all kinds of weird psychic ruptures because it's like I'm smiling but I want to cry. This sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. Emotional crises.
Speaking of AI things, I've been getting more serious about stable diffusion and various iterations thereof, and exploring like things like textual inversion. And I found an architectural set of embeddings, and I found an interior design set of embeddings. And it's really interesting that you can check into like a model, a photorealistic model, something like Rev Animated, and then you can apply the embeddings, and then the embeddings just are trained to make the AI work better at doing the whatever it is. So there are like architectural models. So I was using it to like take a look at like backyard offices, backyard sheds, and come up with modern shed designs. And there's another model I found that's trained on skyscrapers specifically. And then there's a couple of different interior design models. And yeah, so just playing around with models in not just models, but textual inversions, embeddings, LoRa's, and Lycorises these are all these new terms that I'm learning as I'm doing this.
I've played a little bit with LoRa's, but never super successfully.
Yeah, the trick is, so I've got stable diffusion. I've got atomic 1111.
Are you able to train on your system? Because I have like 8 gigs of VRAM, but I don't think I have enough to actually train.
No,
effectively.
I technically can, and that's what I've been working on this morning. I did a couple of things where I think I got all my image sizes wrong, but I collected some bodega shots. I have just tons of bodega shots, So I want to train it on Bodega, because one of the embeddings that I downloaded 2 embeddings, and one of it is called mechanical clutter.
Ooh.
And yeah, so you can render a character and you can put the mechanical clutter embedding in there, and it makes it like Adam Savage's warehouse in the background, like just all kinds of random mechanical knickknacks. And then there's another one called household clutter, which just makes you look like you live in a messy house. So this idea that you can just apply these ideas through these styles through little models is really awesome. So yeah, I'm practicing. I'm trying to figure out how to build my own embeddings so that I can set up. And I thought Bodega would be a good one because it's got a lot of consistent visual detail to kind of play around with. So if anyone else is interested in playing in the Stable Diffusion world, let me know, because I would be into jumping in the donut shop and tag teaming
I
some
totally
ideas.
like to
Cool.
listen and learn.
Yeah, just let me know when.
Cool.
I've been playing with it too. I haven't been doing any training. I've just mostly been kind of playing with different models and trying to fine tune how I can use ControlNet for like video generation. Like I've been doing this ControlNet absinthe pipeline to create that video I posted in AI output like 2 weeks ago with the person talking. Why hire actors if I can just act it out and have an AI, right, that can do all the same things basically. So I've been a little bit
Just for anyone from SAG-AFTRA who's listening, there are reasons to hire actors. Just gonna say.
yeah, no, this is because I'm doing a very specific project that takes place in like a future, AGI universe. So AI is, inherent to the story I'm trying to tell that's informing the medium choices.
There you go.
But yeah, so let me know. I also I'm not a big Python person, but if you are, the Stable Diffusion XL, the next version leaked, so you can't run it in automatic 11.11 yet, but
You can run it in comfy UI.
oh, you can?
Yeah.
Dang, okay.
Yeah,
Now
you
I
can.
know
Yeah,
this.
yeah. So you can totally download it and run it in that's the reason why I loaded up comfy UI, just so I can get SDXL. But and then it just reminded me of how much I enjoy node-based workflows, because I use Resolve, and I really enjoy playing with that. And node-based workflow for AI image generation is so freaking fast, like you can do stuff so quickly with nodes. And I just love that you can save all these like node patterns. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to make comfy UI share the same models that I'm using in Stable Diffusion, and creating a shortcut on Windows doesn't seem to do it. It actually breaks things. But I don't, are you using Civet AI?
I use that to find a lot of my models. I use Civet and Hugging Face to find models, and some of them have like extra stuff to put in the pipeline that I can't always implement. Sometimes I get like a NAS error or whatever, where it's like not implementing for part of it, and I'm not sure why, if it's my setup or what. Like I know enough to know sort of what's wrong, but I don't necessarily know enough to fix it unless it gives very direct instructions.
Yeah, Civet. I'm almost exclusively using Civet to find new models, because they have this.
Their search engine's better.
Well, their search engine better. Not only that, they have this. If you are a paid subscriber, if you pay like $5 a month, there's a widget that installs, not a widget in the browser. It just basically they give you an API key that you put into Stable Diffusion.
Oh, nice.
So what you do is when you see a model, you just hit the check button, and Stable Diffusion automatically loads it in the right place. And it just,
shit. Okay.
Yeah. It's like, it's one click install of models, LoRa's, textual inversion, everything happens super quickly. And then as you're looking at the models, you can see check marks on the ones that you've already installed. Yeah, it's totally worth $5 to just be able to
Dang, okay,
do that.
cool. I will
They've got
check
his
it out.
they've got his
Thanks,
camera
Faye.
working.
Oh yeah, here we go. Just in time for the
Yeah, I got my camera working and I also got these old magazine. I found these old magazines.
Love
I was
the
just looking
ads.
at the ads in the back.
Oh, those are
Ads are
great.
just so choice.
There they
that's-
are.
there's a
US
training
government.
set,
U.S. government jobs. Look at this stuff.
there's a training set in the making.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. For AI, you mean? Yeah. Amazing psychic powers, how to develop.
Yes.
1 cent a day brings $100 a month.
Nothing's changed. Make money while you sleep.
Clothespin
Clothespin
nose.
nose.
Agents wanted. Clerks, factory workers, a rare opportunity.
Be an artist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Old books wanted. Any photo enlarged.
Yeah.
Another
What's the
typewriter ad.
combination? Desk and a typewriter. Is that what it is?
Nice.
Only a few left. Big
Wow.
husky muscles. This could be like the template for you guys for the
Totally.
magazine of the future.
Totally.
Um,
This is this is
I love the retro futurism.
yeah.
Those illustrations are actually pretty
Yeah.
simple to make in Midjourney. They do a pretty
I
good
bet,
job with black
yeah.
and white illustrations. It's
Amazing.
science fiction before we knew any science. So
Yeah.
much better. So much better. That looks like a Midjourney picture right there on the back. That one,
Yeah.
I think I've done that in Midjourney.
Lovely flower. It looks and smells like a 3-foot slab of exceedingly dead meat.
That'd be the corpse flower, right?
Yeah, that's the corpse flower. Early illustration of the
Look
corpse
at
flower.
all
That's
these-
cool.
You know, it reminds me of when I used to when I worked in the newspaper, I found some of these old infographics.
Oh, the camel ad.
I mean, maybe now I have to
7
go
out of 10
look at those.
doctors smoke camels.
But old style infographics were much more interesting. They're much more like kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not. They were really almost like comics. Very cool. All right, I'm gonna go in search of that now. Be back in a little bit.
All right, we'll be here.
I've been using AI a lot more at work. I've been just leveraging APIs for OpenAI, and I just applied for an API for Claude, and I got one for Wolfram Alpha. There's a lot of thirst and hunger for using it, but they're looking for people to use it responsibly and not like a silver bullet. Like just point this laser gun at my problem and vaporize it. But finding a lot of success with but it's more like text based and strings and floats and not images like you cool cats.
I found some of them. Progress or decay. St. Louis must choose. Look at this is like hour of decision. These are old infographics. I would call them infographics.
Are they talking about climate change? What's the hour of decision?
I think it's when they started putting freeways through all the city, they kind of like destroying a lot of the city blocks, and it was about putting freeways in, I think. But I remember I found this in the archive. Oh, here you go. Occupation of Negroes. Just show that dates it right there. Can you see that? Tale of a false economy.
What are those drawings there?
I'm trying to read them. They're Xeroxes, so they're
Uh,
kind of like, they're not really that easy to read. I was doing a series for the newspaper on sprawl, urban sprawl. And so I looked up what they had done with it in the past and found all these really interesting old infographics. You can kind of read them, but they're not as interesting as I thought they were. Well,
sometimes the feeling and the vibe is what you need to
yeah,
build on. But I mean, they're inspirational. I would say maybe they're or evocative. They evoke something.
they do.
Yeah.
Not as interesting as the science fiction stuff, though.
Yeah. If you're looking to get rid of any of them or lighten the load, I'm not saying like, all of them, but just like if I don't know. I would enjoy just even not saying that you are, but just even the ads. just
Mhm.
like,
Yeah.
into this. Just the archetype of them. Um the style and the language and the
Oh yeah.
are those that was those were those the Smith brothers? That the ad with the two fellas with the turn of the century beards? Baby Ruth.
Let's see.
There they are. Good taste.
Oh, yeah, you're right. The Smith brothers.
Yeah, those guys. Used to their cough drops are like candy. I mean, basically, I think they are. Back in the day. In that category of like, tonics to cure what ails ye.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Chesterfield. That was the cigarette what's his face asked for right before what's his face killed him in True Romance. I had one of those Chesterfields and Dennis Hopper and what's his name? Escape me.
That looks like they got smaller in the 50s.
As budgets got
Yeah.
tightened. Right for a free book. Oh man.
I will have to think about something to do with these for sure. Obviously cared about them enough to move them across the country.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Got to be something. I saw there is somebody on Facebook who is selling subscriptions to these. Like, you just subscribe and you get a random one in your mailbox every month.
That they're just pulling from they're trying to think of what to do with their dead stock
Yeah,
that they
yeah.
that they got to get rid of and say, let me do something fun.
Yeah.
Let me turn it into a
You
project.
could
I
buy a
like that.
subscription to it.
That's
That's
a
cool.
really good idea.
Yeah.
Random retro magazine subscription.
So they're
Yeah.
yeah, I like that. It's
See,
got to be the right magazine. It can't be like National Geographic because no one wants those anymore. They just
Right.
keep moving around from one basement to the next. Hey Jeb, what's going on? Our print samples are supposed to arrive a couple hours.
Oh, yeah. Tracking that one? Couple hours, huh?
Well, it said by noon, which doesn't mean any fucking thing for these delivery services. Probably like 8 p.m. So I'm hesitant to leave, but I'm also hesitant to stick around for the resentment that will be generated hour by hour.
Yeah.
I had a delivery this morning before 9 a.m. and I was told it was supposed to arrive between 10 and 1.
Yeah, I would take that
It was
over
not a great
between.
wake up. It was like,
between 10 and 1, and it arrives at 8 o'clock at night. And they don't even need you around. They just chuck it over the hedges.
They needed me to sign, and I just didn't understand why. It wasn't like I was basically getting, furniture. So it was just like, I don't like, no one's gonna steal this from my porch.
I don't know, Los Angeles. I see a lot of homeless people under underpasses with nice steel case furniture.
I'm up in Altadena, like.
Yeah.
I like that picture of Drew there, the old one.
The old Drew.
Yeah,
Yeah.
look, he does look like he's on a farm or something. That shirt. So
Yeah.
he's got some
Wow,
farm.
Jed, that's a read. Do you
might
discriminate
even-
against everyone wearing plaids?
Might even be. It might be on his brother's. His brother. His brother.
He. What? Sorry, I got cut out.
I was just saying that Drew's his brother is a farmer. Farms
Right.
mushrooms.
Yeah, because he's been bringing out these stories last week. I think it was that.
That's right.
He had some farm stories or grandma's farm stories. I guess it's just the plaid that I thought that. Yeah. I don't know what's up here. Yeah, it's be cool to see those when they come, whether they come at noon or later,
Yeah.
or whenever it is.
What are we expecting to get? They're samples of the cards. 18 cards.
Yeah, 18.
And you picked them for a variety of color and that kind of thing.
Yep. To touch on every color that Dre's translated to CMYK. And I picked like a variety of there's out of the 64 of them of images, I think a 10 or 11 are the V4 mid journey like representations,
Mm-hmm.
and then the rest are 5. So I think I made sure to pick at least 4 or 5 of the old ones, just because I was more curious to see how the printing comes out, with the there's just a different texture and feel to those. And so it that was like my biggest sort of like, besides the color stuff, is sort of like, what are these going to feel out of place in a good way, doesn't matter way, or a bad way. So yeah, I guess I'll, in a way, it's sort of like, that's the other thing that I guess I'm kind of looking at eagle eye wise. If they
my take is, I mean, after having gone through that InDesign document a couple hundred times, I didn't notice.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, I think your eagle eye sees it because you actually did it, but I didn't. I mean, if I turned on eagle eye, I can maybe play a guessing game of what is V4 version versus V5, but I didn't realize until you just mentioned it now.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. I mean, I think what got me on it was just an early comment from Julian anyways, was just like, oh, these looked a little different. Maybe the first time he was going through the 64 or something of the newer set.
Oh,
So-
back in the day, you're talking about the rendering or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. Just the rendering. It's just a different quality of rendering. And I mean, I think I left them there for a reason. It was just, you kind of had, from what I remembered, it just made it sound like to me like, oh, maybe they're, the quality of the render is not going to stand up when looking at them next to other ones that are of a newer generation.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, conceptually, I can rationalize it both ways. It's fine. Some are older models or whatever it is, but it's kind of more, I think, just whether they look like they're of the same standard, I guess. But probably doesn't matter, but it is something to look at. So I kind of made sure to kind of go a little more heavy on some of the images that I, for whatever reason, may be problematic to printing opposed to others. I think there was another one that had like a light source that you were saying something about, like, I don't know if that's going to print well. So I made sure to throw that one in there. And yeah, that was sort of the rationale with what 18 were used for the 64.
Yeah.
But other than that, I think that yeah, I mean, I don't know, you know, seeing the quality of the cards, we went with a thicker card, thinking it would be kind of more premium, was the thought. So I haven't actually seen. I got like a stack of, you know, early on they sent like a stack of samples, and I couldn't really decipher if, you know, what the thicknesses were. So that would be something that will come out there. I'm not sure what else we're looking at. Just type.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I know you've been tightening that up too. But yeah, I think yeah, I mean, we kind of, you know, we had to, I think we did great. Like, I think it was Monday. They were like, let's try and get this over there, keep in the time frame. And here we are Friday with some prints, so that's good.
Yeah.
Was anybody playing around with Inflections Pi? I heard Julian, you said you were messing around with it.
No, I don't think so.
Oh, I misread that's totally possible.
I was probably like, what?
No, I've been I got the iOS app and it's got
Oh, that's right. And
Yeah.
I got it, but I wasn't sure what to do with it. And I didn't spend enough time until I was like, wait a minute, this is called being distracted. Focus.
no.
Because Jed sends me lists of things I need to do every day.
Oh yeah,
That's good. You can do that. So that'll start making
I'm getting ready to. I'm getting ready to snapshot you the one for the last cover of the box or whatever.
Is Pi just a phone thing?
No, it's you can get it on the desktop. heypi.com/talk. You can enable its voices and the voice version, I think, on desktop, but on the phone, the experience is nuts. I turned it on, I got a half-hour walk through downtown Chicago to the train station. I turned it on and just had a super engaging conversation. I've done it like 3 times now, from work to this train station. The voice tech is just next level. It's like the only time you can tell you're talking to a robot is when it tries to laugh, and it's like but like that's everything else, like the inflections and everything is it's just perfect. And I actually asked it how its voice is generated, and it was trained on thousands of hours of actual voices, but it's not like a recording or based on a specific person or anything. So it's 100% synthetic, but it's just that method of interaction is just like, 2001 Space Odyssey HAL. I mean, it's that quality.
That's great.
I'll give it a try.
Yeah.
I'm just playing with it right now, and it's talking to me.
Yeah, I put on my headphones that have a little mic on there, and I just put the thing in my pocket, and I just walk and talk, and it's really neat.
This is
really
her,
neat.
right? At some level, where everyone's walking around talking to their
Exactly. Yeah, it's exactly
Scarlett
that. Or
Johansson.
Mrs. Davis, right? That's exactly what, because I'm walking through crowds of people and I'm talking, having a conversation out loud with AI, and I totally feel like I'm in the plot of Mrs. Davis, because it's given me answers to, like we talked about my work, and then like I switched the subject to the ancient Sami people of the Netherlands and their epic poems, and it like seamlessly switched and was able to like recite these like epic songs and stuff like that. And like, and then I switched it up again, and it just she just keeps up. It's crazy. Yesterday I was asking him about Julian Bleeker. So
Nice. And this is all just walking around with like headphones and
yeah,
talking.
just a little, just the iPhone and just talking. And she talks back. They've got 6 different voices, and I chose the
Yeah, I just auditioned the voices. They're all kind of annoying. All right, I'm gonna download it. I like this idea. I want to live in a world where I just talk to AI all day long.
Yeah, no, that's totally, I just like, I stepped into it, and I'm just like walking through crowds of people downtown Chicago, and like nobody has any idea that I'm like 20 years in the future. It's nuts.
This is
Drew, was that,
straight out of Her is what it is.
Yeah, it's Her, Mrs. Davis. Like because I'm like listening to I'll ask the app a question on something super complex. It gives me a simple answer, and like I could have it on there and say, hold on, let me check, just like the plot of Mrs. Davis, and she would give me the answer, and then I could reiterate it back to the human that I'm talking to, right?
That's great. Could you proxy for me right now?
Sorry, I love it.
I don't know if you guys have seen Mrs. Davis, but I thought that was a
Yeah.
fun little show.
I never saw that. What is that?
Fun and terrifying.
Yeah, it's
'Cause it's so close.
what network's on? I downloaded it.
Peacock.
It's Peacock.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mrs. Davis is just basically this like ubiquitous AI. It just imagine pie happening.
But it's also thoroughly
3 years.
absurd. It's like near future, but thoroughly like,
Oh yeah, Julian, you should see it. Basically, like I was a little bit annoyed at the first few episodes. Then I started to get into it, and it wasn't until the reveal, Drew, where they reveal like where the AI come from. When that happened, I was like, yeah,
gotten to that point. I haven't gotten to that point.
Okay,
Yeah,
when they reveal that, it was like, yep, this is totally my humor, and it won me over. And it's like, this show's awesome.
But the main protagonist is a woman who is now a nun, but she was trouble before that. But like then she has a direct relationship with Jesus, who when she prays, she goes to a diner and he cooks her tacos and like or falafel and like that. And so it's like got that dynamic, plus it's got the other dynamic of this disembodied AI that's in everybody uses it except her. And that's why AI is so keen on getting her to help with this mission. And the mission is to find the Holy Grail. So like, it's like completely absurd and near future and just totally inspiring. But I totally feel like I'm in the plot of the show when I'm walking around talking to Pi. I'll put a link in the office hours chat. So I heard of it, actually. Somebody mentioned it in the when you let me through the back door of the ASU conference, and I jumped into one of those breakout rooms. Remember that, Julian? Somebody mentioned it, and Julian passed me the ticket, through the back door, and then left it cracked open as he was going in, and I slipped in. But yeah, somebody mentioned that in that group. But I'll put it in the office hours chat.
Love those ASU guys. Hey, Drew, while you're yapping, and just in case you have to run off or something like that to do something important, I remember at some point, I don't know, I think we were back channeling, working on something Python-y kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so here's what I want to experiment with, and I'm just wondering, anyone, a bunch of you guys are doing AI stuff, so I want to be able to shove through let's say like the transcript of office hours, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to just like a beautiful distillation of it, maybe 900, 1200 words, and of the text. And I feel like that's possible. I feel like if ChatGPT, if I had enough tokens and it could shove through, 2 hours of
Well,
yapping.
you can parse it, like, and that's what I was trying to I explained.
Well, when you say
can-
parse it, I mean,
you parse the transcript, right? So you parse the transcript into digestible chunks. So it doesn't use up, doesn't hit the token limit, right? So if you give it the whole transcript, it will hit the token limit.
but
it
so
won't
and
do
what
it.
is and so parsing to me means like breaking it up into semantic nuggets, but it hasn't gotten any smaller.
There's tools that
Sure.
just exist for this already.
Okay, so
So-
what's the tool? Basically, I just
So
want
Fathom.video is one that you can use. I've been using Tactic for a while. I've actually remember
you got to
Julian,
have to put links someplace. Fathom.
well, yeah, Fathom.video. And it basically it joins your Zoom call and it transcribes, it basically hijacks the closed captions. Because I remember I'd asked you to turn on closed captions on office hours because I use a tool called Tactic that transcribes meetings, and then from there it runs chat or GPT-4 to summarize. So it'll create summaries, action items, this type of stuff. And Fathom will do that. And then what Fathom will do is give you a detailed breakdown of the meeting, who said what, so on and so forth. And you can, if it's too long, you can just take that, put that into Chat GPT and just tell it to re-summarize it the way that you want it to be done. But yeah, there's a bunch of tools, bunch of meeting video summary tools that exist now.
Yeah.
If you want to use the text though, I just, Dre, that's you're so keen on knowing where all that tech is. So I super appreciate your wrinkly brain when it comes to that. But just to directly answer your question, Julian, yeah, you're parsing it into chunks, but each chunk is its separate API call, right? So that's how I'm doing stuff at work. I have it set up so it does multiple, it's doing multiple calls, right? So it's each, so not one call hits the token limit, right?
Okay, so I'd say okay, so now I got you. So are you okay, so what would I set up in order to do that? So we're finished office hours. It's Friday afternoon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Use-
I make a little Aperol spritz.
I would just
Put the music on. Now what am I doing?
Aperol, that's all over the internet. I never heard of that before, but so what I
Wait,
do is
seriously, you've never heard of Aperol
I've
Spritz?
never heard of Aperol.
It's from the
I'm sorry.
Midwest. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all
I
right.
think
Oh,
we now,
oh, I see. I see.
I think we now have an Aperol sheet.
Yeah,
You've
we have
never
an
had
Aperol- we have an
Spritz and
Aperol sheet.
Cicchetti in the afternoon?
We have an
I-
Aperol
Never
sheet.
pretended
That's
you're
what
in
Jed-
Italy, drinking some Prosecco with your Aperol and
I
eating
have
little snacks?
I have not. Have you ever had deep fried gator on a stick? I mean, because we got that here.
I've
Anyway.
had crocodile before. I've never had alligator though.
To get it set up, it's a pretty simple Python program. You just use your whatever flavor of NLP program you want to use, probably NLTK to, and then ask that to parse this into semantic chunks of no more than 500 words, right? Using Python. And then the next function is have OpenAI iterate through each cell in this spreadsheet or data frame, right? And summarize.
are you
each one.
Are you also scripting that part?
Yeah. I have that. It uses Text DaVinci 3. And it's like the old Chevy in the back pasture that starts up every time you go out there to use it. I mean, it's really a solid model.
Okay.
But you must have intuited my home scene here because I got a kid in the bath that's screaming at me. So I'm going to jump off and then jump into a work training. But it's been a distinct pleasure.
I might pull on you just to.
Please do.
Yeah.
Click on the last link on the chat, Drew.
Bring that Chevy around the corner.
I will. Right on. Cheers, guys.
Take care, my friend.
All right.
Bye.
So Julian, there's a tool called Quiver that I pasted in the chat.
I'm looking at it now.
Yeah, so it's basically you install it locally and you can drag in documents. So
Okay.
whether it be a PDF or whether it just be a large text file transcript of, let's say, office hours, and then you can query it, and it does that. It basically chunks out the data, tokenizes every chunk, and keeps it within the various or within the token limit, but you can chat with the entire document.
Dump all your files and chat with it using your generative AI, second brain using LLMs, GPT 3.5, 4.
Here's a YouTube video of somebody explaining it. This is how I discovered it.
All right. Hey, can I burden you to put those links in the Discord office hours chat log?
Not at all. I will go and copy pasta.
Because you put in so many links, and it's like I think I'm caught up with your links in the chat. But
Yeah,
there are
these links are just al dente. I'm gonna
yeah, that's right.
I'm gonna
could
firm
bring
them
a-
up a little bit more and get them in the
That's
in
right.
the
It's
Discord.
yeah, just a la carte, just bringing out a sausage. But I wanted that in the pasta. All right. Cool. Yeah, because I want to share the office hours more, but I don't want to just how do you share it? If or no, sorry, not even share it. Like provide another point of entry
Mhm.
for both, for myself, for you guys, but then also for more generally, that's like, here's what we talked about. Like because there must be a way to summarize it in a nice, snappy kind of way. The gang got together again on Friday, and these are the things that they talked about. And then Dre said this, which was people laughed at. Dave shared this, and did you know Dave and Dre are actually, it's like they're old friends. Something, something fun. Anyway, Camille, Jed and I were conspiring to maybe have another meetup, IRL. Jed, you survived the solo parenting week, or are you still surviving? Is it still happening?
Well, no, it kind
No,
of,
I didn't survive.
uh,
I'm off. I'm at a Motel 8 somewhere north of Bakersfield.
I just,
Jed is dialing in from the afterlife.
yeah. I did okay. Yeah. I guess it had technically ended at about 9 last night. Meaning that Susie came home.
Okay.
So, it was an interesting week, but it went all right. It was just kind of like extra, um, time sensitive with getting things done to places.
Sure.
Yeah, but it went fairly smooth, actually better than I thought. So that was good.
Julian, can I make a request?
Totally.
So, I mean, if Chewy has any objections, then
Yeah, I don't know. He doesn't seem to be into
I'm-
it, but he's
I'll-
run
I'll
off.
keep-
So
I'll keep it tight. When you define the different users in Discord and you give different users colors, you've made a bunch of us like either a really dark gray or a black. I think it's black. You made our text black. I don't know if you're able to like pump that up to something like a medium gray or just not black, because I use dark mode in Discord, so everyone with a black name is kind of invisible, so I don't know who's saying what.
I totally hear you there.
Oh, do you get the same thing?
Well, I mean, I'm in black. I mean, I'm assuming, I don't know. I thought everyone was in black mode, but
Yeah, me too.
but
Every time Julian shares his screen grab of like light mode, I'm like, what's he using? What is this program he's using?
yeah, it is definitely hard to read. I
Oh.
basically have to. I mean, I can see it, but I'm looking more at the icons at this point.
I don't see the icons. Like it doesn't show me that. I don't know if you caught any of that, Julian, but
No, Chewy was barking at the UPS guy.
oh, what? That's good news.
Yeah, it's good news. Good job, Chewy. Good job, dog.
Nice.
All,
Yes.
all the names are, Julian, all the names are black in the Discord, hard to read them.
Yeah, all the names that are black are hard to read. I can't see it in dark mode. I have to
All the names that are black.
like when you set up people's
Oh, the
names, like,
roles.
They're roles. Yeah, that's it. If you
Okay.
make them like not black.
Oh, are
that-
you in? Because I'm in light mode.
Yeah, I'm in dark mode. So
So I'm in
every-
light mode. All the people whose names are white, I can't read. But I'm also like, those are the ones who are in the lower role. So I don't really.
Yeah,
Good point.
we were just saying that.
Are you
well,
dark mode too, Jed?
I am
He's a
dark
dark mode guy.
Yeah,
More
I'm a
like-
dark
Well,
mode guy.
I'm dark mode in Discord, but not in most anything else. I think that's just because it's the default. It defaults to dark mode.
Oh, does it?
I'm
Okay.
dark mode in everything because it's easier on my eyes.
Yeah, I didn't even know Discord was in light mode.
So I'm trying. What? Who is in? Why is it? Ugh, okay.
Whatever role is like I'm that role, right? So
Yeah, I think
My
'cause you're-
guess would be that it's like showrunners are black.
Yeah, so showrunners are gray or
Did you
light
just
gray.
make
I
it
just
yellow?
changed. I just changed something to yellow. Does that
Yeah,
change
yeah,
it?
okay, perfect. I can see everybody. I can be like, oh my god, I'm the one that said that.
Wait,
I'm-
is that the right color though for that role?
Stay golden.
Stay
Green is
golden.
nice.
Okay.
I'm gonna have to step out. See you
Okay.
guys.
Thanks for coming
Right,
by.
Dave.
Thank you,
It's
Dave.
a pleasure to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to see you all.
Take care,
Take
my
care.
friend.
Bye.
Yeah, I'm not fussy which color you choose as long as I can read it. That's all I care about.
Yeah.
So are those the card samples that came in?
Yeah.
Awesome. I was hoping that was going to happen during office hours. Hey, yo, look at that. Okay, pin the video.
Is this so okay. Yeah. Let's see.
The top one. Let's read his face, Dre.
Dre, thanks for all the stable diffusion updates / what you're working on learning with it.
Hey, you're welcome. I will continue to do that because you're keen on it too. So I need more stable diffusion pals to share knowledge with.
Yeah, definitely. It's like trying to work in a vacuum versus not. So
Yeah,
I will share what I learned, but I don't know that my rate of learning is quicker than yours. So
well, yeah, I'm gonna try and do like just jump into the donut shop, like probably mostly without warning, maybe with an hour or two warning. It's usually impromptu. Everything's just kind of like last minute for me. So if I jump in, I'll tag you, and then if you happen to be around, awesome. If you're not, then I'll continue to share what I know.
awesome. Thanks, Dre.
Yeah, I would say tag me too, just in case I'm around. I'm just,
Yeah, cool.
I'm not playing with it at all, but I'm just kind of curious what you guys are thinking about.
Cool. Have you installed it, or are you interested in installing it?
No, and I don't
Yeah.
know if I'm interested yet.
Yeah, you can see what's going on. My perspective is that Midjourney is really awesome, but you can literally type anything into it and it'll look really awesome, but there's not a lot of control in terms of if you want to get really specific on stuff. And there's a bit of a homogeneous look, like almost everything rendered in Midjourney now kind of has a bit of a look to it. There's a tell in how things are rendered. A buddy of mine rendered like a human portrait. It was really convincing human portrait, and I looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's Midjourney. Even though it was really convincing, there was a few little tells. Stable diffusion, on the other hand, lets you get really precise. And when you start training on models, like for an example would be like the sheep, for instance. Like we could have really trained it on a bunch of sheep, although it's probably not necessary because Midjourney did a great job. But there's something about I think that the really high-end work is going to get done in stable diffusion because of how specific and precise, and how narrow you can do things with models and in
Yeah, you just have more
video.
control, and more control is going to equal more customizability, more opportunities, etc. Because, you know, when everyone becomes mid-journey proficient, you know, it's like, okay, what's next?
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, kind of the philosophy I've adopted, having used it the last, however many months, has been like not as not as concerned with a particular of an image, but thinking about it more in groups conceptually.
Mhm.
And so like it doesn't matter in a way if they look a little cookie cutter, as long as they maybe we're telling a story with a bunch of them, opposed to just like one portrait or something. But that's just kind of my process of being okay with it, I guess, without diving in too deep into a similar model.
There was a hearing yesterday about AI. I'll post the link in the office hours, but I think it's interesting kind of looking at it from a legislative perspective and the potential, you know, consequences of that.
Okay, so it's cool to have the cards. There's some problems.
All right.
So the gold just isn't working. The text on the background, it just doesn't
Stand
pop,
out.
doesn't stand out at all. The
Does it look like gold paint? In a
No,
sense?
it doesn't.
Reflective?
It just looks like a brown paint. It doesn't look gold at all. There's no
It's not shiny and
Well,
reflective.
It's nothing gold about it.
maybe they messed that up.
I don't know.
Assuming they could get a foil gold finish, that was the point.
No, it's not that at all.
I'll have to ask them about that.
The drop shadow in the top in the top thing totally isn't working. It just looks like a bad print error.
Mm.
Looks like, like double strike or something. I think the cards are too heavy.
Too heavy.
Too heavy. It should feel, I feel like it should feel a little bit more consumer grade.
You know what pound stock they used on these ones?
Yeah, it should be 18, 16, and 14 are more common. But that was a purposeful choice to go with a heavier, more premium card.
Yeah.
But if it feels too much, then yeah, go back.
It feels like a little bit too much. I mean, you got to put them in your hand as well. I think the white background looks like we didn't try to put a background. Which I know that we did. We just left it transparent. But just in the card, it just looks like it doesn't make the critter pop enough, I don't think. It just feels like, I don't know. Maybe it's because of the stock, because this is like it's like a card stock, so it's not really doing anything. There's nothing about the card itself. I don't know. It's just something feels a little bit sad and lonely somehow.
How's the blue one look? Did that come in the pack?
There are a couple of like lavender blue ones. So here's a blue one. Yeah, that.
Oh no, I mean there should be a background blue one.
Oh.
No,
Yeah. Yeah.
the one that had a color in the background. Yeah, how does that feel to you?
Like if they all had a color like that.
Well, I'm just curious. Yeah, if that reads better for you rather than white.
Or something like that, yeah.
I don't know. It might be a bunch of things going on. Like I feel like maybe the sheep could be bigger on the
That's a
thing.
comment that is a comment that I brought up in the channel. I think I referenced like sort of an older, layout to a new one, saying that the banners kind of got a lot wider and the sheep got a little smaller. And part of that I think happened when the template came around, because originally I had I was missing, I think, like on the crop, like half of a quarter inch or whatever it was. So I think when they got translated over, it shrunk the image a little bit from the original size. And then the banner grew. If you just look like up a little bit in our in our channel, the Mid-Journey channel.
Mhm.
If you just scroll up like not very far, above the
Salt licks.
Salt Lick, and to
Yeah.
you see it?
Wait.
Wait, I missed it. Where'd it go? It's definitely in here before. Or did I put that somewhere else? Do you remember seeing it?
I don't remember seeing it. Maybe you
Uh,
put it in the Androids channel.
Maybe. Hold on.
When I look at that, like, yeah, I think that the banners, we can definitely do something about that. I think the size of the sheep, I don't know how much bigger you can get without it,
Yeah.
without the edges of the sheep encroaching on the.
It's just
on
like you can't see. I don't know if it's a print quality or what, but you really like all the detail that inspired them is I mean, it's kind of hard to feel. You can kind of see it, but it's you know what I mean. It's just like in terms of like, I don't know. I guess maybe I'm comparing it a little bit to like the design fiction cards. What's going on?
Oh yeah,
Feels like there's, I know the layout's entirely different, and the cards are also very different card stock. But it's like
Right.
there's so
They
much
are,
going on.
more of a baseball card stock than like a playing card stock,
Yeah,
I guess.
yeah, which I get. That's totally. I guess like
Why?
I don't know, like this card. It's like there's a lot there. It feels like there's a lot there. Maybe
Yeah.
because it's the scene as well, compared to like this, which is it's really hard to kind of sense into the detail. Now, I'm not saying that you're supposed to see every single thing, but even just at a first read, you kind of like, I don't know. Maybe it's just
Wait, can you show
because
those last two again? Sorry, I just didn't see them.
it could be like a there's it could just be tweaks to the layout, you know, like a little white thin line around the whole thing, just to kind of anchor things a little bit, or just give it a little bit more something, you know. Maybe each breed, like these ones, I chose colors for each. There's just maybe more we can do with the layout. It might not even be the size of the sheep. You know what I mean? Just like a little something.
Yeah, I copied you on that little part again on the channel. It was just farther up.
Yeah, I'm seeing it.
Yeah.
The
They did-
back, the
they
backs
did-
are cool. There's the backs feel like, you know, okay, it feels like a data card. And then, but I guess the contrast is like this, where it's like, where else? What else do we need there?
And the back
Yeah.
feels legible. Like
Yeah,
it's looking-
back is totally legible. I mean, I would center the very last line, the near future laboratory, you know, just little stuff.
Yeah.
But the text is legible.
Okay, that's good.
That feels like, okay, what is this thing? This feels more like I'm not sure what's going on here.
Mhm.
Like maybe some little data analytics or something, QR code on the front. I don't know. Maybe like a little near future laboratory bug, something that just makes it feel like
Yeah.
we
Well,
tried
Put
a
a
little bit
border on
harder.
the frames. So it's like within the sort of similar language of like trading cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Assuming that's the language you want visually. Because with the singular subject in the center, it reads as like a postcard that's like a product hero shot.
Yeah, I feel like if the card stock was more special, that white would look better. And I
Mhm.
think things would look a little bit better.
Yeah, there'd be a little texture to it or something.
Yeah, well, I mean, your work kit cards have this nice little kind of checkered, like woven textured or almost like a dotted texture to the
Yeah.
paper, which is kind of nice. And then so Jed, yeah, looking at the difference between the header, the ribbons, we can certainly play around with that. It means the name of the sheep would be reduced a bit. But Julian, what are your thoughts if the name of the sheep on the front of the card was a little bit smaller? Like 2 points or 3 points smaller? Because that's totally doable.
I mean, they were originally set to be, well, you can see in that thing.
Yeah, I can see. I'm looking at the image.
The sheep are bigger and the ribbons are small.
Yeah.
Which I think would help with some of what the issues are, just as a start.
Yeah, we can certainly do that. We can certainly
Kind of anticipated that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I anticipated that. That's what those comments were about.
Yeah, got it. All right. Sorry, I didn't catch that explicitly.
I don't know. Yeah, it's hard. It's so hard to express things in the channels and not know if people are, if we're paying attention to each other or not, or just, not that we're not trying to, but I still haven't figured this one out.
Yeah, we need a robust ticketing system.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we might want to look at some different treatments. I think to Camille's point, it does kind of look a bit maybe postcardy, and it could speak to some of the language of trading cards. And what do we want to maybe consider a bit of a border, maybe rethink the ribbon?
Yeah. I think the ribbon needs to, I wouldn't even try to bother with the drop shadow. Is it a drop shadow or
Yeah, it is a drop shadow. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not this, it just looks like a print error.
Yeah, I think one of the last versions didn't have drop shadows.
And then yeah, and then just play with the treatment of the front. I mean, I do think, I wonder what it would be like if there were a color.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing we could do is
color in a, kind of like a with a border.
Yeah.
That's maybe what that would look like. I feel like.
Yeah, and it looks like the gold ink isn't
not doing
isn't
it.
really doing. Yeah, it's not a foil.
Nothing gold about it. Yeah, it's definitely not a foil. It's definitely not a.
I think they probably messed that up, would be my guess, because I have I'll bring the sample cards too, the ones that they had sent me a while back.
Yeah.
There's definitely examples of what foil looks like, and it looks like foil, and that was the discussion we had.
Okay.
So I think that's probably just a mess up.
Okay, so maybe that's just a question to Jim. Trey?
For sure.
I mean, Jed. Package type printed.
Yeah. Yeah. You said he would do that in the sample. I don't think it got translated, probably because Greg was the one that sent it in.
Yeah.
I bet that's where it got lost in translation.
Yeah, they sent me an InDesign template with with a swatch. They said, "Oh, use this for the gold," which I think what they did is they just used the Pantone equivalent, and they
print the gold ink.
Yeah, they didn't match the swatch to the gold foil. That's what it sounds like they may have done.
Yeah, so I have a feeling that they messed up the sample in that respect. So maybe they'll do another one if we want.
Yeah, we definitely want. I mean, I don't want to. If we do any changes or whatever, they just have to.
Yeah, and we can maybe take that opportunity to maybe do a couple of front card options. And I don't think we necessarily need to commit to one design right now. If we're happy with the back, then I think we can come up with maybe a few different ones, get them to print those samples, and we can see what, or you guys can see what it looks like in person and make a call there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It might even be worth Jed, if we take a look at it and send half the stack to Dre.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so my first thinking is the three main things that are not right, that before even changing any design issues, would be get the sheep a little larger, get the banner a little smaller, get a foil on the print, on the text. And those three things alone, if they're done right, may make it feel quite a bit different before we go into the next layer of a bunch of stuff. But yeah, I would say, sure, if there's a couple, if we want to if there's 18 new ones, and we get those parts right first, You know, then maybe a little bit of a border or a color shift, or, you know, all those things you're saying
Yeah.
as some examples. But that would be kind of my thinking of how to approach it in a
Yeah.
systematic way from what we have to where it goes.
I'd be curious to see the as you know, if we're gonna go into you know, just do a little bit of experimenting, is I really like the utility of the font on the back. I'd be curious to have like a non-decorative font on the front, as if these are just, you know, it's like a Chilton's manual kind of vibe, if you get the reference.
Yeah, I mean, we can create a couple of options. I kind of like the Cooper black on the front. I think that's a good, it looks, I like the more playful font on the front, but yeah, we can definitely typeset it with like a Helvetica or something.
Yeah,
I
I
would
totally
just-
get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I'm sort of curious because as I go back from one side to the other, I'm kind of like, wait, are these the same thing? It feels like they're different.
Mhm.
They're different things. Different. I don't know.
Well,
what you-
yeah, the back was sort of reference to like food label stuff, so it was sort of like a label to the product. Thought. So, I just so like a lot of the earlier versions of the you know, just did use a plain text thing, and I'm just throwing it back into one of that chat of like the one with Chewy there. That is, you know, more just straightforward font. This is like a, you know, you can see it place.
Mhm.
But that, you know, that was sort of a placeholder. Yeah,
Not sure what it is. It's like the is it like the print quality just feels dull? Maybe it might be the cardstock. I'm not sure. Something that just feels like a little bit like, okay.
glossy. What does it feel? Is it sort of like a matte finishy? 'Cause I think that's what was.
It's like kind of a stippled matte, kind of mottled matte.
Mhm.
You know, it looks like I got some poster board at Staples and ran it through my printer.
Right.
It almost looks like the kind of thing where you just, if you were tired, you'd be like, that's good enough, but it's not.
And the one with the full blue background still feels the same quality to you.
Yeah, there's nothing, this doesn't have any panache. It's just, I'm not sure how else to describe it.
You
It's
know,
not
I hear what you're saying. I mean, you know,
dull. I would say dull,
yeah.
not like, ooh, wow, what is this? I mean, maybe it needs to be glossy. Do they do glossy? Or is this it?
They can do anything.
I don't know.
They do.
I wonder if it should be
They do.
glossy, if it just should just feel like cheesy glossy. Like this feels, I feel like I'm in the same crisis I was in when I did TBD catalog. And for some reason, it's like I went premium with the first two printings in terms of the paper stock and the cover,
Mhm.
and it's totally wrong. It's supposed to be like a Uline catalog. And for some reason, I went the complete opposite direction. It was fine. No one really brought it up, but it wasn't until I got the.
Yeah, like I mean, you could. Yeah, there is a glossy cardstock, I'm sure. I mean, I have samples of different ones. This was. I think. Yeah, we could try glossy.
I just don't know. I'm not sure. I'm just trying to figure out what direction we would go into to at least have something be like, oh, it could also not work, but just seeing it.
Yeah, I imagine they'll probably want to. Is it? Yeah, whatever, however big the sheet is, you know, they can throw a glossy sheet in them and a different cardstock that's too thick, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when do you think we can get together so I can hand these over to you so you can look at them?
I mean, I'm here. I'm not going anywhere this weekend. So, I mean, you know, I guess we want to sort this out, you know, as efficiently as we can to, you know,
Yeah. I don't want to rush it because I don't want to get something that we're just kind of like, we're kind of like harboring little tiny nuggets of, I wish I'd spent more
Yeah,
time.
yeah, no, I'm not, yeah, I think, I mean, I agree. I'm saying that in ideas like, I'd rather get them from you sooner than later so we can make our decisions quicker,
Yeah.
opposed to like let them drag on because of
Yeah.
our timing issues of coordination.
Yeah. Can
So,
we meet at Johnny's Pastrami tomorrow?
where's that?
That's sort of maybe roughly halfway. It's sort of almost around your 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 pizzeria, but only on it's on.
Yeah,
West
okay, so
Adams.
tomorrow, I have something. I think I have something at 10. Have to be somewhere at 10, and then the days sort of, I don't know, we're doing like a pizza pool party thing with like Dash's friends. I don't know the timing of it. Sunday's probably simpler. Um, or I could come over early in the morning too. Can be pretty early.
That's by West Adams in South Bronson, right?
This pastrami place, is that right?
Johnny's
I was thinking-
Pastrami.
I was
Yeah.
thinking it was around there. Is that where that
Like
is?
it's like you get off of Crenshaw on the 10 if you're on the freeway, and
Yeah.
it's like basically right there.
Yeah, you just hang left on
Yeah,
Adams.
you are
Yeah.
right. It's near
If you're
my
coming down.
buddy. It's
That's
near
right.
that
That's what
party
you
beer
do.
place.
I usually
miss it.
I usually drive there on the streets because it's way more interesting. West Adams is fascinating.
You have a great neon sign.
Totally great. This when you come here, Dre, we're gonna fuck that place up.
Oh man. We are definitely gonna do that.
You just
Yeah.
got the burnt ends. Fuck the bread.
Yeah. In the morning early, I would say, or Sunday.
Let's do morning early.
Okay.
Get it
Oh.
over with.
Yeah, yeah.
You just let me know what works and what does
Yeah.
that mean?
Yeah, yeah.
I
Okay,
got 12 miles between you and me. 12 miles of city.
that's right. Even maybe, yeah, no, today's a little difficult. I got a lot of coordinating in the afternoon. Okay, I'm gonna say that, I'm gonna throw it out there that, maybe like 9 AM is gonna be good, but let me double check with the rest of the crew,
Okay.
and I'll just keep you posted, but yeah, we'll figure it out tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll bring the other cards too, so you can see some of their samples.
Yeah, that'd be good.
That way you can, assess that. We can sit and, yeah, for a few minutes when we see each other. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they are baseball cards opposed to like those definitely playing card feel.
Yeah, totally. And I guess I'm less familiar with the
We
playing
got some
cards,
packs around there, like those,
the
you know,
wacky packages.
right? Yeah,
Those?
like those are like thick and glossy, and maybe that's more the feel, or maybe not the thick part if it seems too thick now, but.
And also remember, like they need to also, I guess, that we need to think about this as well,
Yeah,
and how they kind of. So
I-
these in here, I mean, these are matte, but
yeah,
they're also bigger.
yeah.
Dre, I'm gonna get shit to you from they just arrived at the logistics outfit.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, those are, I mean, I think we kind of always loosely talked about
That's cool.
matte finish, which is kind of, I think, why I had no thinking of gloss.
I'm gonna make lost sheep posters of this and hang them around town.
So good.
I like the last one too with the Augie jumping.
Yeah.
That one to me is like, I feel like it's organized in a nice way. The other ones are a little hard to read with the format of the book. But that
Yeah.
one kind of really. But that particular one there is sort of the ribbon and the font actually in that book. That was sort of kind of trying to reflect that. with the
Yeah,
card.
see, I don't know. See, this one from the wacky packages, this is a glossy. This is
Right.
like a
Well, they
Mhm.
are, yeah. they're like
easy glossy.
stickers.
Well,
Yeah.
this is the back. This is the back of the on the back of the sticker. So that's a sticker.
Yeah. Does that have a nice, is it playing more into what the card is like?
Possibly, but also they're rich and filled with stuff. There's a couple minutes of reading right there. Like it's got all these different layers. It's a puppy juicer, puppy press, the canine juicer. Juicing a puppy. And then the other ones, yeah, it's just gloss on the back because these are puzzle ones. They fit together. This is a very Dre wacky package. Deadbolt.
Nice.
Well, that has a feel like that kind of is now, except for the black. Just like one thing on the front with white.
Yep.
It's kind of more that.
Yeah. So I guess all the fronts are like that. And the contents are going almost to the edge. I mean, it's got a there's so much maybe it's like there's too much breathing room.
Well, I think the sheet definitely should be bigger and the banners smaller. That
Mhm.
will for sure.
I think maybe we can just to kind of fill it out, just to try, like maybe even just pull some of the information from the back in the front as well. Like the manufacturer name. I don't know, something that just gives it makes it maybe a little bit richer read or something.
You said the
Feels a little
manufacturing.
more, feels a little bit denser. Doesn't feel like we're fetishizing the sheep too much. Not sure. I think there's room to play. So gross. Betty Canker's foot gushers, blister-shaped pus sacks, corn flavor. This fucking thing. These are just like clings, so these aren't even stickers anymore. I guess you just put them on a window. So gross. All right. Get it sorted.
All right, good stuff. Well, I look forward to hearing what you guys come up with after your pastrami
Pastrami
meeting.
sandwich.
Although I think they will